Well, whoops. Welcome to not Radio KL Live, it's actually Video KL Live, or Superman Homepage Live. My name is Steve Eunice. This live video broadcast on Facebook brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. As I said, my name is Steve Eunice. In this, our February 13th, 2018 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including the fact that Justice League is now available for digital download. We're going to be talking about the bonus material. We're going to be talking about DC Comics' plans for this oversized 48-page one-shots, two specials that they're bringing out. And we're going to also be turning to you to take your comments and questions on any particular Superman topic you would like to discuss. And to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show, let me introduce you to my co-host, Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hello again. Now, obviously, you're tuning into live via Facebook to watch tonight's show. Below that video, right down here, if I'm hopefully pointing correctly, we invite you to join in and chat with fellow fans, post your questions and comments, fears, trepidations, ask us questions, maybe admit to a crime you once committed. Steve and I will be keeping an eye on those comments, as will the authorities, throughout the show. So don't be shy. Get involved. We really want to hear from you.
Yes, and a huge thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Tina Murray, Patrick O'Neill, and Stephen Wright. And we apologise for the delay in getting started. Few technical issues. Just didn't press the right button. That's as simple as it gets. But Michael and I are here for the next 53 minutes to talk about everything Superman related. Now, as we'd like to do here on this weekly podcast, we'd like to start with movie news. But for those who are tuning in for the first time, Radio KL Live is the weekly show that Michael and I usually do through Blog Talk Radio. It's usually an audio version of this show, but we've decided to attempt to go with a video podcast, a live one through Facebook, and hopefully get more interaction. As we can already see, there's lots of people already tuning in. Glenn, John, Henry, Gerard, lots of people tuning in already, so we appreciate you guys tuning in. And yes, Henry, this will still be available as a downloadable podcast for you to watch after the event. But we've decided to try a Facebook Live feed for this week and possibly continue doing that. So let us know if this is something that you would like to see us continue to do. But let's get into the movie side of things, Michael. And Justice League is now available for digital download.
Yeah, it's as we were kind of talking about before we started again. I'm really excited that it's available. I think it's cool that a lot of people are getting to see it. I am not as happy that I'm seeing a lot of arguments on Facebook because I guess it's opening up fresh wounds for some people. But I'll be waiting until the Blu-ray, sitting in front of my computer on my iPad, watching a show or movie. It's not my preferred way to do it, so I'll wait till I can get it up on the big screen, have all the dogs around me with my wife, and enjoy it again. But I am looking forward to seeing on my widescreen the deleted scenes that have been popping up because they look really cool.
Yeah, indeed. And as part of the promo for releasing the release of the digital download for Justice League, the Justice League UK Facebook account, Twitter account, released this image of the Justice League members, the 6 members, which is from a scene towards the end of the film. So that's a pretty cool image there with Superman and Batman front and center. It's a pretty dark looking image, but it's not a bad one to be released in an official capacity.
Yeah, I saw that and I was just like, oh, they had the camera down on the ground. Okay. That's cool, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to get excited for new pictures at this point when the movie's out and you've seen basically all of the really cool stuff. So it's a weird promo.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a weird promo, but also released a couple of preview videos on YouTube this week. One was a preview video of that Suit Up, the Look of the League video that's part of the bonus material with Michael Wilkinson, the costume designer for this film, talking about the costumes, and it goes through how they created this. The Superman costumes are slightly different. It's over a metallic kind of base, so there's a bit of more of a sheen to it. So that was an interesting insight into that as well.
Yeah, the behind the scenes stuff is usually things that I really, really like to see. And we talked when the movie came out about how brighter the movie looked, the costume looked in the movie. So seeing the behind the scenes stuff on that just kind of confirms that there is a difference between this and the other Superman suits we've seen.
Now, we also got a look at the deleted scenes. Now, we had the deleted scene about the Superman black costume was the big one that every fan out there, Superman fan, was like, well, let's talk about this black costume. Henry Cavill hinted at it, posting a particular image on his Instagram account. And now Warner Brothers released a preview of that very short deleted scene where Superman does indeed go back to the Kryptonian ship, the scout ship, the one that I guess Doomsday was created from, and he's able to retrieve his normal costume, his blue costume, but at the same time we see him looking at the black costume. He never wore it. It's not something he ever wore in the movie or ever intended to wear. I guess it was more like an Easter egg to show it in the background for people to see that this particular graphic, this particular costume was there.
Yeah, and it is kind of interesting when I mentioned before that a lot of people seem to be old wounds and starting old arguments, and the whole Snyder versus Joss Whedon and all that. It's just kind of amusing to me that the black suit was one of those things that we saw a couple clickbait for. It's just like, well, it was in there. And what that made it sound like was that he wore the suit and we saw it and there was like a major thing, and now it just turns out that they took one of the other suits, painted it black, like it's, kind of a Rolling Stones song, and they just had him look at it because, like a lot of other things in the Superman movies, and since this is now part of the Superman trilogy, it was just an Easter egg. The use of the music was nice, and of the deleted stuff that I've some with bad cams of, the more I see it, it would have been nice to see, but to me, I think it would have slowed the film down.
Yeah,
because the film had its own pace.
Yeah,
and like it or hate it, throwing that in there would have just felt weird. I mean, we like it because we're Superman fans, but to me, it's just I just didn't think it was necessary.
Well, let's have a look at that scene, that preview scene that Warner Brothers released for us right now. So there you have it, and that was just a preview of the longer scene. But and you get the Hans Zimmer music in the background, as Glenn is mentioning in the comments there. It's something we didn't hear a lot of in the Justice League film, but here we hear it in the deleted scene.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have minded hearing it in the film. I think that it's a very good theme. I don't know if a lot of the other themes are as memorable as some of the other Superman music we've gotten in the past, but it's neat to see it as a deleted scene. I understand, like Tina in the chat is talking how she would have liked to have seen it despite the pacing issues it might have caused, but and again, you're going to have that. You get 10 Superman fans in a room, we can't agree on how to make Kool-Aid. So that's just how it is.
And also, the other deleted scene that people are talking about today is the one with Superman appearing to Alfred. And yes, it is Alfred that is the one who... it's Superman that Alfred is talking to. We have that whole thing where Alfred says to somebody in the Justice League trailer, he said you'd come, let's hope you're not too late. And there was a lot of speculation. Was it Aquaman? Was it a Green Lantern? Was it Supergirl? Who could it be that he was talking to? And a lot of people thought they did see the red cape on the shoulders of the person standing in front of Alfred. And yes, it was Superman. And it's obviously this comes directly after Superman having retrieved his costume, where he goes to Batman's house, Batman's lair, whatever it is, and Alfred's working on that car, and Superman lands and says to him, I presume you're Alfred, and Alfred says to him, Master Kent.
I actually really liked the Master Kent line. It felt like a really authentic Alfred thing to do. And, it's interesting because I'm trying to, piece how everything kind of fits together. So I'm assuming that Clark was at Smallville, hugs his wife. Had too much in the comics there, Mike. Hugs Lois, hugs his mom, goes back to the ship while everyone's heading to where Steppenwolf is, and then flies to the Batcave. I'm trying to figure out how all this fits together, I guess, and maybe a longer cut would do that, but it is kind of cool to see Alfred and Superman together, because those are two characters you don't often see have any kind of interaction. Yeah,
so true. So that was a cool scene, and again, for the pacing, obviously it was cut out of the theatrical cut of the film, and for pacing reasons wasn't included, but it's nice to see it eventually in this bonus material for the release of Justice League for home consumption. So they're the different things available with the Justice League movie. Now, there's been much made about Henry Cavill's moustache in this last couple of months. Obviously, he had to grow it for the Mission Impossible Fallout movie that he's a part of, and the studio there wouldn't allow him to shave it. And so when he had to come back for reshoots for Justice League, he had to maintain the moustache. So they had to digitally remove it, and there was a lot made about how poorly that digital removal was done. Now, a group of guys from what do they call? What's the name of the company? They're called Deepfakes Club. They've got some free software that they use for digital editing of movies and things, and they put out a video on YouTube showing what they've been able to do with their software to be able to remove Henry's moustache, not just from Justice League footage, but from other footage that they've been able to get of him. And let's have a look now at I'll just open up a page. Let's have a look now at that particular I think I've got it here somewhere. The moustache, Henry's yeah, here we go. Let's have a look at that video.
Yes. I barely recognize me with this MI6.
Why can't I see it?
Yes. I barely recognize me.
I can hear it, but I can't see it.
Yes. I barely recognize me with this MI6 moustache. I forget that I have it somewhere.
I wouldn't say nice. I mean, it's on my face. It's like any kind of facial hair. You forget that it's there until you see yourself in the mirror. And that can be a shock. This is something which I never realized would happen in real life.
A man I knew used to say that looks like your car keys. Easy to lose. If you dig around, usually close by.
Of the digital editing of the moustache, I have to say I think they did a pretty good job with just a $500 used computer and their free software. And it's not perfect, but it's an improvement.
Yeah, again, it's something I noticed, but it wasn't something I wanted to focus on. I kind of agree with Henry in the chat that I'm a little over the whole mustache thing.
Yeah.
I think at some point we have to let it go. So, but it is kind of funny to see. I mean, the funny thing about that video to me was just seeing the little razor thing come up and shave him as he's talking. So, but so many. I guess this is one of those things that is never going to die, and that makes me a little sad.
Well, even Deadpool 2, a trailer for that film, started poking fun at the Justice League movie when in the trailer, the one of the characters, his arm's not digitally metallic as it's supposed to be, his robotic arm, and so they paused it and you got Deadpool voicing over the top of it saying, "Hey, it's only a digital arm, and it's a metallic arm. Surely we can do that. Fix it in we're not trying to remove a moustache here." And so,
yeah, well, it's the second Superman thing Deadpool has done in the teaser trailers, because in the first teaser trailer he was actually changing in a phone booth with the Superman theme playing in the background.
There you go.
Which was just weird.
So anyway, that's let's hope that's the end of the moustache and we don't have to hear from it ever again. But getting back to the black Superman costume, concept artist Matt Hatton, who was a concept artist on the Justice League Mortal movie project, which was never made. It was supposed to be directed by George Miller. Matt shared an image or two, actually a couple of images, of a black Superman suit, which he says was going to be part of was going to be part of the Justice League Mortal project. He shared this particular image, and he says, so about a decade ago I worked on the George Miller version of Justice League. Here's a black-suited Superman way before the Snyderverse. He was floating above a funeral. In that movie it was Batman, not Superman, who died, but not really, in brackets.
Yeah, I was thinking about that and how that would fit into the movie, and it has come out that it was going to be Batman that was going to kill Maxwell Lord at the end of the film, because they were going to kind of follow the storyline from right before Infinite Crisis. And it makes sense that they would fake Batman's death after that, so that, a new Batman, he could be reborn or whatever, if that's necessarily what they were doing. But it's a cool concept art. I wonder if that documentary has gotten any traction that was supposedly coming out about it, or if it's just one of those things that people announced and now it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's I guess on the back of the documentary about Superman Lives, which came out and was very successful. There are a number of announced documentaries that were supposedly being made for other films that were documentaries on other projects that never got made, and I guess maybe they didn't get the funding, or they were just trying to ride the coattails of a popular documentary that did a great job on documenting the whole Superman Lives fiasco.
Yeah, I mean, projects like that get kind of announced and unannounced all the time, so hopefully something will come out about it, because I am kind of curious to see more of what they had in mind. I would at least like to see if they had pictures of the cast in their costumes. I can see why Warner Brothers would not want that out, because they've got a brand that they're trying to protect now. But as kind of what could have been, it would have been a neat thing to see.
Yeah, indeed. All right, well, let's move into the TV side of things. And just after we did last week's show, we had another TV spot from Sci-Fi for the upcoming Krypton TV series. And I've got that right here to share as well. So let's take a look at that.
Something is coming to destroy your legacy.
the cape being handed to Segel, Kal-El's grandfather, by Adam Strange, who obviously travels back in time from Earth, we're assuming, to hand him the cape and tell him about what is going to befall the future if he doesn't take care of business in the past.
Yeah, again, this show is just looking really slick. To the premiere, we've got a lot of really cool stuff coming up in the next couple of months. It's funny, I don't know if you've gotten this, but to me, this actually feels like a bigger birthday year for Superman than 2013 did. And there was a movie coming out that year, so that felt big in and of itself. But it seems like DC is really trying to push the character. And we've got a couple things to talk about in the comics, and a couple things to mention about like interviews with Brian Michael Bendis. It really seems like DC is now wanting to celebrate Superman instead of like 2013, where it's just like, okay, it's his birthday. Okay, he's got a movie coming out. I guess we got to talk about him. Let's push out a miniseries that's going to be horribly, horribly late, which everyone should have seen coming.
Now, in the comments, Tina is asking for a bit of clarification on who is Adam Strange.
Adam Strange is a character from the 60s. He is Adam's actual name. He was an archaeologist that got hit by this thing called the Zeta Beam that transported him to the planet Ran, or Ron. Henry makes a joke if we're going to get an Iran joke with Adam Strange. And basically he was pulled there because nobody else on the planet could be their champion, so he was given this really super cool helmet, and he fought monsters and fell in love with the scientist's daughter, but the hook was he'd be zipped back to Earth at just about any time, and then would have to find another Zeta Beam to travel to Ran, so he could go back. And they tried to do like a serious, gritty updating of him in the late 80s, and he played a huge part in Infinite Crisis and the afterwards. But he's an interesting character to pull out of the toy box, though I'm not surprised given the science fiction elements of this show that they pulled him in.
Could have used Booster Gold.
Yeah, but
he's not serious enough.
Do you think Jeff Johns is really kind of trying to hold on to that and make a thing of it? I mean, I would love a blue and gold series. I know Dan Jurgens would too, but I think Jeff kind of has a proprietary feeling for him. Like he doesn't want to push him out into something like this.
Yeah, no, I can see that. All right, we're at the halfway point of tonight's program, so we're just going to take a quick break, play some messages, and then come back on the flip side to talk about the comic book side of things. We're going to be talking about Superman number 40. We're going to be talking about oversized specials that DC Comics have announced for the end of an era. So we'll be back right after these messages.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman in Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
I'm freezing! Superman!
Uh-oh, sounds like Lisa and Scott are trapped in the icy cave of that frosty-faced villain, Captain Cold. This is a job for Superman.
My fast freeze zapper will freeze Superman forever.
No way, Captain. Here, kids, my new Superman Hot Cocoa Mix is the super tasty way to warm up.
It's really sweet and chocolatey.
And see, Captain Cold can't take this warm reception. New Superman Hot Cocoa, the super tasting way to warm up.
And we're back on Superman Homepage Live on Facebook. I was actually thinking, Michael, course, we're not Radio KL Live. If we do persist with this Facebook version, what about WGBS TV?
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I think that would be perfect because it plays nicely into the comics, and if we ever want to get taken over by an evil organization, we could become WLEX for like an episode or two. But no, WGBS is great. No, it's funny. A little bit when we came back, it's because the video on the site is delayed a little bit, so I was actually watching. I had never seen the hot chocolate commercial before, so it was just really neat to actually see it and just marvel at how good the animation was. So no, I love it. I love seeing all the actors. We hear you're listening to Radio KL Live all the time, but seeing all that together, that was really cool.
Yeah, that's the promo that we run on our YouTube channel for any new visitors to that. So it's nice to be able to compile all those nice moments together, guys like Brandon Routh and who else did we have in there? Matt Bomer, Tim Bailey, yeah, actually mentioning Superman homepage. It's really cool. So maybe down the line we'll get Henry Cavill and whoever else we can get in on the action, doing a video shout out to our fans at Superman homepage. So all right, like I said, let's move into the comic book side of things, and let's talk about Superman number 40. This comic book came out this past week. The History of Destruction, it says. We've got John and Superman commemorating the day that Krypton was destroyed. And a very touching story, but a provocative story as well.
Oh yeah, I'll totally agree with that. It's touching on a lot of themes of how religion is viewed, and when do you step in to help a society, and does their belief system override the decision to save them? Because during the course of the story, the alien species that Superman and Jonathan go to save, they're like, well, our deity says that we must die, and we have heard of a blasphemer that will come and try to, take a... I don't mean to make light of religion there. I'm just trying to get through this. And I really thought that was a kind of a cool tack to take, because Superman, where he listens to all of it, there's like this silent panel, and then he's like, no, that's not what's going to happen. So, and then you have the person trying to help him. So it looks like this last, big storyline from the Superman title is really is gonna be kind of one of those things where they're not going out on a light note. They're giving you a lot to chew. My favorite part, though, was the conversation between Superman and Jonathan in the fortress. I love seeing these two characters interact.
Yeah, no, it was a very interesting story, and our reviewer Adam DeChannel gave it a 4 out of 5 in his review of on the website, calling it a polarizing story that is full of sentiment and heart. And it was a difficult story to kind of find land on a side, because at one point you agree with Superman that these people should be saved if they can, but you can't force these people if that's their religious belief to and it's their world, it's their planet. They have different cultural understandings of what life and death is. So it's people in the comments are saying that Superman shouldn't have gotten involved and shouldn't have interfered, and it's as I said, a polarizing topic.
Yeah, and Gerard says that his kids love John, and I guess he'll be picking up the young adult graphic novel that they're going to be coming out with the Super Sons. So I'm just fascinated that DC is going in that direction. But no, with this issue, the art was really strong. The writing was really strong. We really haven't had a dud in the past 20 months or so.
No, we haven't.
And I'm very impressed with that.
Yeah, no, it's been fantastic. And the hits just keep coming. DC Comics announced today, depending on where you are in the world, that they'll be publishing 2 oversized 48-page one-shots to mark the end of an era of Superman comic books. Action Comics Special number 1. I'll just get the graphic up here. There they are there. The Action Comics Special number 1 and Superman Special number 1. The first one will be out on May 2nd, the one on the left that you're seeing there. The 48-page Action Comics Special number 1 will feature the last will and testament of Lex Luthor, written by Dan Jurgens with art by Will Conrad. And it says, beginning with the events of Rebirth, Superman's greatest enemy became his most unexpected ally. Is Lex finally on the heroic path, or is he still hiding his true colours? When he finds himself in an adventure where Superman could be destroyed, what will he do? Save the Man of Steel or witness his demise at the hands of an unimaginable enemy? This oversized special also includes stories from Max Landis, Michael's favourite, Francis Manapul, and originally slated to appear in the DC Universe Holiday Special 2017 number 1. What are you laughing
The
at?
fact that you can see me now, just you saying Max Landis, Michael's favorite, just made me chuckle, because I was just like, oh wow, 2 specials, oh wow, they're gonna wrap up the Lex Luthor thing, oh wow, they're going back to Max Landis. And it's kind of like, it's kind of like watching The Price is Right, where it's like dun dun da da. So,
and the other one there is Superman Special number 1, and it says it's available May 16th and features a Tomasi and Gleason story called The Promise, concluding a story from Rebirth that began in issue number 8 in Escape from Dinosaur Island. Before Superman's world goes through some drastic changes, he has unfinished business to attend to on Dinosaur Island. Superman and the Losers, Captain Storm, take one final trip together into the abyss of tomorrow, which brings the military man out of time into the world of today. This 48-page extra-sized special also features bonus stories by Mark Russell, with art by Brian Hitch, and Ian Flynn, with art by Carr Andrews.
You know what the interesting thing about the Superman special is? That's the cover. He's wearing the second Rebirth outfit. He's wearing the trunks on the Superman one. And that's kind of cool. I just noticed it as I was sitting here looking at the graphic. So this the Superman story obviously takes place after the events of Action Comics 1000. Luthor takes place before, which I guess would make sense.
So there you have it. They're the 2 specials coming out in May to mark the end of an era of Superman comics, with Brian Michael Bendis coming on, the Action 1000 thing happening. It's a big month coming up in May, so we look forward to that. Now, there's been a lot going on in the action figure and statue world this past week. Sideshow Collectibles just keep hitting us with some awesome looking statues. First up is the fact that they're taking pre-orders on a Superman premium format figure, which I will bring up the graphic for in a second. Just let me turn that one off and give you the... Not that one, where is it? Here, Sideshow statue. Wow, look at that. It's measures 26 inches tall, and Superman touches down from flight onto a base of... themed after Brainiac's skull ship. Mechanical tendrils reach up towards the Man of Steel as he prepares to bring justice to the 12th level intellect. And now we've got some extra images here. There's the cape on the back. There's the Brainiac version of it. That's the exclusive edition. Features a swap-out right hand holding the head of the defeated Brainiac. Superman's powerful punch is imprinted on the side of his foe's face as vibrant green blood is splattered across his severed mechanical neck. Wow.
It's really interesting to see. One, this is a beautiful statue. The artistry of it is amazing. But it's kind of funny that there's going to be like this lag of merchandise of the different costumes. Like the first costume is now out there as a DC Multiverse figure, which I haven't been able to find at store level. and that's the blue boot suit. Now you have this one, which has the red belt and the thing. And it's just like, okay, at some point, I guess it's all going to catch up. It's all going to be red trunks, and it's all going to be back to normal. But to me, that doesn't matter. In all honesty, I have... you can't see it because of where the camera is. Though, actually, if you look very closely in the background of the mirror behind me, you can see a bunch of action figures. If you feel like zooming in. But I like having like all the different looks and different eras of Superman in action figure form. So having a like 2 Rebirth figures or a Rebirth statue would work for me because it just history of the character.
Yeah, this is not cheap either. It was expected to come out at the end of the year, December or early next year, 2019, up between December and February. It's priced at $585 US. So it's not cheap.
Yeah, anybody wants to send me one, that's fine.
Yeah, Sideshow, we're happy to do a review of it. But so not only that statue, but there's this statue coming out. This is the again from Sideshow Collectibles, Iron Studios Superman Prime Scale statue with the red trunks. Now, this is based on the concept art by Ivan Reis, R-E-I-S. Is that how he pronounces his name, or is it Reis?
Rice or Reese. I've got a couple friends that'll correct me on that one, but I love his artwork, so this is a beautiful statue.
Yeah, this is a polystone statue, hand-painted, features 3 head options and an LED light-up base. And as you can see there in the graphic, the head options are Superman looking up with a bit of a smile, Superman looking straight ahead with a bit of a serious face, and the red eyes of anger, heat vision. As always, I've got to include those.
Oh God, man! You know, when we get sophisticated with this live video stuff, you can actually like work in my eyes flashing in anger with heat vision every time. And it's just funny though. I gotta give it up to DC with the decisions that they made with this statue. They're giving you options. So if you want the heat vision, if you want that look, you can have it. But if you want the smiling Superman, you can have that too. And I think that's been the best thing about Superman in the past, since 2016, when Rebirth started, that we've been given so many different versions. I mean, right now, as a matter of fact, you can read the regular comics, or you can read them in the metal book. And I think, I don't know for sure, but it seems like he's a little different over there. So, Superman fans, and it looks like they're trying to make everybody happy, which is, of course, going to make no one happy because we're fandom, but that's beside the point.
Now, if you've got a cool $1,000, that's what it's going to cost you for this one. It's $999.99. What, just don't they say 1,000? I don't know. But anyway, it comes out in October to December later this year, and again, you can pre-order it from our website. From Sideshow Collectibles, and if you're going to do that, please do it through our website because we'll get a nice kickback.
Yeah, and again, Iron Studios, you want to send me one to review? I'll be happy. I'll film it and everything, put it up on the web.
100%, no doubt whatsoever. Would be happy to. But so that's a very cool statue there from Iron Studios, and the other one, both available through Sideshow Collectibles. And yeah, who can afford them? I don't know, Glenn. Glenn asked a very good question in the chat room. Who can afford those? I don't know, but there are people out there who just basically save up all their money for this kind of stuff, and they're hefty prices, no doubt. But you wouldn't mind having them in your collection.
Yeah, and the fact that the base lights up and all that. I mean, I'm sure if you put that in like a glass case in like a dark part of the room and have that lit up, it would just look amazing.
Yeah, it would look fantastic. And then we've got Funko have announced that for Emerald City Comic Con, they've got these Crypto figures coming out from their specialty series, Crypto the Superdog Pop, and from their Dorbs range, Crypto the Superdog and Ace the Bat Hound 2-pack. These are supposedly going to be available for Emerald City Comic Con. which takes place across March 1st to March 4th at the WA State Convention Centre in Seattle. Now, there's a bit of a few hoops and things you have to jump through for these in order to get the Funko. Go to the Funko. In order to get them, you have to go to the Funko booth and get the exclusives during the convention, and to do that you have to participate in their lottery process, and all the descriptions, they're all the details are on our website. I'm not going to go through them here because, like I said, they're pretty detailed, hoops you have to jump through, but so get involved in their process if you want to do that. But Emerald City Comic Con coming up March 1st to 4th, and these figures will be available there.
The Crypto Funko Pop, not the Dorbs. I'm not a huge fan of the Dorbs thing.
Yeah.
That's just adorable. I mean, maybe it's because I have dogs that these types of things like really kind of speak to me. But that's just it's crypto. Who doesn't like crypto? And if you don't like crypto, you need to check your soul.
Yeah. And Tina in the chat room says that her dog is named Crypto, so she wants to get him a little cape. But the Funko Pop vinyl figures are cute, and they're a very collectible item, and they're not too expensive either. So they're you can go crazy on those and really just have a whole shelf, a whole section of your collection just dedicated to the vinyl pop figures from all across pop culture, not just Superman.
Yeah, those are the only ones. I have a couple Batman ones, and I have a Wonder Woman one from the Batman v Superman line, but it was one of the few things that there was ever a foot put down about in this house. It's like, no, you are not going to get deep into Funko Pops. And, she's right. And I will always thank her for stopping me from the worst of my nature.
Now, the other topic that we should probably get onto before we finish off in tonight's show, we still have about 10 minutes to go, is this statue in Cleveland. Back in 2015, we heard about this statue in Cleveland that was going to be, just trying to find, here it is, going to be erected there to commemorate the fact that Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster both grew up in Cleveland when they created Superman in the 1930s. And it was supposed to go up near the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum as part of the elevated walkway that would connect Cleveland downtown to the lakefront. Now, unfortunately, the location that had been proposed for the statue in late 2015 is now no longer available. And so the Siegel and Schuster Society and the local government council, whatever they call them there, are looking for a new location to be able to put this statue, and it was supposed to be up for Superman's 80th anniversary, but now that looks like it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Patrick, one of our regular commenters and one of our admins on the group and everything, suggested my front yard. I don't really think that's what the Siegel and Schuster are going for, because Fayetteville does not have much to do with Superman. But if asked, I will serve, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, well, a lot of people said, when obviously the heading of the title of the story was Cleveland Superman statue looking for a new location, and people go, "Oh, put it in my front yard, my backyard," and then there was other people going, "What about Metropolis in Illinois?" And I'm like, "Look, these are nice, it's fun, that's great to speculate, but it's for Cleveland." It's for them to celebrate their connection to Superman, not for and I can't believe it costs this much, $3 million statue, wow, to be taken somewhere else. They're raising the money to put it in Cleveland to celebrate their connection to the creation of Superman, not to have it transported anywhere else.
Yeah, and, Cleveland, it seems like every once in a while they have kind of a rough patch with the Superman stuff. There's the fence with all the comic book panels that has gotten trashed a couple different times. If you should, I cannot recommend enough listening to the latest episode of Word Balloon, hosted by John Centris, because he has Brian Michael Bendis on there, and they have a really long talk about why Bendis is writing Superman, and he kind of talks about the seedier side of Cleveland. So it doesn't surprise me that they're having trouble finding a location for this now.
Yeah, it seems a shame, but so they're looking for somewhere else to put this statue. Bob says it's a great looking statue. Personally, I was never really sold on the look of this particular statue. I mean, I think it could be better. I think there could be a better representation of the Golden Age Superman if that's what they're trying to represent.
It oddly enough, when I see it, it kind of has like a George Reeves look to it, which would definitely explain why Bob is kind of attracted to it. But I see what you're saying, but maybe if I saw it live, like we were up close to it, it would look a little better. Maybe they just haven't taken a really good picture of it yet.
True. Yeah, I guess it could be better in person. That is only a scale model that they've got there, so I guess we'll have to wait and see if it ever gets done. Now, looking ahead at this week in the comic book world, the comic books that are out this week, if you're a comic book reader, and there are some interesting ones for us to go through. There is Action Comics 900 and... Oh, come on, where are you? Here we go. Action Comics 997. What a variant cover that is.
Yeah, I have been impressed with the bulk of the variant covers that we've gotten, but I really like the main cover too. That's a really sharp picture of Superman and Booster Gold. So, but yeah, the shot of him holding the flag and hovering in the city with like the sun overwhelming. I just think it's an amazing cover.
Yeah, and we've also got... I've got too many things open there. We've got... What else have we got here? We've got Supergirl number 18 coming out this week. And that's why, because I'm looking at the background. So we've got Supergirl number 18 this week. The two covers there. We've got Dead End for the Girl of Steel. So that's coming out this week as well, and a very Silver Age looking variant cover for that one.
Yeah, it's actually I would say that's more Bronze Age because she's wearing the hot pants and the V-neck. She actually kind of looks like that actress that was on 30 Rock and on Ally McBeal, Jane Krakowski, however you say her name, put on a Supergirl outfit. I've seen a lot of people when they first showed this cover, a lot of people were like freaking out saying how awesome it is. I hate when they kind of have the posterior and behind both kind of sticking out at the same time, which seems physically impossible, but it's still a sharp looking cover.
Yeah, and then we've got New Superman number 20 out this week. And they've retitled the comic book. I don't know if it's permanently or just for this issue. The New Superman and the Justice League of China number 20 is what it's called, with a new looking logo, which looks very reminiscent of the Superman homepage logo.
Yeah, I was noticing that. I'm wondering if they were a little jealous of what you were using, and now that they got this going. I will say it's the main cover of him opening his shirt is really sharp. The variant's cool too, but that's. I mean, if you're going to kind of get people's attention and with a new direction, that's the type of cover you use.
And then we also have, if you're into it, Red Hood and the Outlaws. Still features Bizarro, and as you can see there, I think I've got the variants back to front. I think the variant is on the left here. Bizarro is front and center on the main cover there, and has been part of this title for a couple of months now. I don't read it, so I can't really tell you what the storyline is, but Red Hood and the Outlaws number 19 out this week as well.
Yeah, and they guess DC took the decision out of our hands. That's a Bat book because of the logo. And I actually dropped it. I haven't read it since the second issue, I am kind of curious though what's going on there. And Action Comics Rebirth Deluxe Edition Book 2 is also out this week. So if you're wanting to collect the trades or the collected editions, the deluxe edition,
that's out this week, and that is repurposing a cover that was used previously as well.
I wasn't really all that hot on that cover. I know a lot of people loved it, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm glad that these trades are coming out so regularly for people who read their comics that way.
Yeah, and another one is DC Meets Looney Tunes, which collects together all the Looney Tunes and DC Comics characters uniting in a story of one way or the other in a collected edition there, a trade paperback coming out this week as well.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that we didn't get the Bugs Bunny in the Superman costume, in front of the Legion. Again, if you're going to sell something these days, you got to put Batman on the cover.
Yeah.
And that's what they decided here. But, again, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and those people that's like, oh, they're always trying to get, Batman over Superman. I'm just going to be happy with what we're given.
Yeah, well, I'll be one of those people because we just got an email today about another Batman animated movie. What, Batman Ninja something or other? Like, didn't we just have Batman Gaslight or whatever Gotham Gaslight or whatever that was called? Like, wow. Really?
Yeah, they had announced that a little while back, and now I guess they're really promoting it. Our day will come. There's a new Death of Superman movie coming out later this year, and then the sequel to it at the beginning of next year. So, eventually people will get set.
Oh well, but look, it's been fun. This is pretty much now we've come to the end of tonight's program. But before we do sign off, I think it's been a success. Doing the show this way feels comfortable. Like we kind of go into the groove of talking about what we usually talk about, but with the added bonus of being able to show you what we're talking about and not just have you listen in. But it's I think it's been a success, and we've had people tuning in for the whole hour, commenting left, right, and centre on the Facebook feed there. So I think it's been a positive.
Yeah, and I'm sure that once word of mouth and you start sharing the video and that gets out there, I think it really opens up, because getting into the Flash chat and all that can be kind of complicated. Facebook's a little more user friendly. We had a couple snafus tonight, but there was that entire first episode that no one's ever heard because it doesn't exist. But my point is that there's always growing pains.
Yeah.
The very fact that I'm willing to get in front of the camera shows how much I like Steve. Microphone.
Well, you're still behind the microphone. It's just attached to your head.
Yeah, you can't see it. It's right here.
So look, I think it's been a positive changeover from Blog Talk Radio to using Facebook Live. But we want to thank you all for tuning in, watching us live here on Facebook and on our website. Again, thanks to all those who are in the comments. Tina, Henry, Glenn, and others throughout the hour who have been commenting. And a big thank you to you, my co-host, Michael Bailey. I really appreciate you taking this chance with me, Mike.
Oh, pleasure as always, Steve.
And a huge thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Tina Murray, Patrick O'Neill, and Stephen Wright. And remember, if you want to sponsor our show, please head to patreon.com/Superman homepage, where you too can be a sponsor for as little as $3. Now, a recording of this show, an archive video of this show, will soon be available on the website. If you'd like to listen back to what took place, you can always rewatch it on Facebook as well. But Michael and I will be back. I think we'll be back here on Facebook. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think I think this will probably be the way we want to do it now.
Yeah, so we'll be back on Tuesday, February 20th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for another edition of whatever we're calling this show, probably WGBS TV. We'll get around to actually formally giving it a name. But we look forward to talking with you then, and we hope that you'll join us again next week. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for tuning in tonight's Facebook Live show, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.